Can likes, followers, and social media clout pay the bills? No, but a business strategy can. In this episode, my mission is to convince you to stop getting distracted trying to become a famous influencer. Instead, focus on what really matters, building a profitable business that creates value and makes you money. Today, we're going to dive into why chasing fame can actually hurt your business and how you can stay focused on attracting the right audience for your business. By the way, they're called buyers. Let's get rich, not famous. Welcome back to the $100 MBA show. I'm your host, Omar Zenhom, where I deliver practical business lessons 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to help you start, grow, and scale your business. Today's episode is about flipping the script on what I believe it means to be successful in business. Stop trying to be famous. Stop and start being strategic. This is Uncle Omar reminding you, you're an entrepreneur, not an influencer. Your goal isn't views, it's customers, it's buyers, it's profit. Let's get those things. That's what's going to get us the life we want. Here's the truth about influencers. Most of them are broke. For every Mr. Beast you see out there are thousands that are not making any money or barely any money to pay any bills. Why? Well, they're dependent on ad revenue and sponsorships, which are inconsistent and low paying unless they have millions and millions of views. I can tell you firsthand from this podcast, it took me over 10 years to get to 2 million downloads a month. This is not easy. I am fully aware that my podcast is the exception. And by the way, I built this podcast to help my target audience, people that want to start and grow businesses, my target demographic, my potential customers. I didn't do it to become famous. Influencers spend their time creating content for platforms that take a huge cut of the profits. I'm talking platforms like X, like TikTok, like Facebook, like Instagram. All these platforms take the lion's share of the profits. Even YouTube, it's tough to really get monetized and make a healthy living. So what does this mean for you? If you're chasing fame, you're playing someone else's game. In a recent episode we had with Seth Godin, he said something very, very profound. If you are working for the algorithm becomes your boss. And you don't want a boss. That's why you became an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you have a huge advantage. You don't need millions of followers to make millions of dollars. In fact, the richest, most successful entrepreneurs I know are nowhere to be found on social media. They don't have a following. They're not trying to be famous. They have already made it. They don't need to be famous. In fact, being famous is a hindrance on their lifestyle. Fame might look glamorous, but wealth looks like freedom. Here's the mind shift I want you to have. You're not here to entertain. You're here to solve problems and create value. Your content isn't your product. Your content is a tool to attract the right audience, to build trust, to educate potential buyers about how your product or services can change their lives, to show that particular audience member that is a good potential buyer that you're worth buying from. One of the most successful and profitable businesses in the world is Apple, and they're not on social media. But even smaller companies like Basecamp or Kit.com, they're not famous, but they're wildly successful, making millions upon millions every month. They focus on attracting the right customer, not the largest audience. You don't need to be famous to be successful. You just need to be valuable. So I want to give you some action steps to focus on getting rich, not famous. Action step number 1, attract the right audience. Stop trying to appeal to everyone. Focus on your niche, your specific audience members that you can really help, that really see the value in what you offer. A lot of people struggle with this, but you need to ask yourself, who is my ideal customer? Your ideal customer is somebody that would be in love with your product, that would say, where have you been all my life? Take my money. Once you define who that is, you need to create content that speaks directly to their needs and pain points. It's actually just that simple, okay? You're going to create valuable content for your ideal client. You're not trying to appeal to everybody. You're not trying to entertain everybody. You're not trying to get the most views as possible. What you're doing here is you're trying to speak directly to the people that you must serve. So instead of posting generic motivational quotes, share specific insights that your ideal customer can act on. I'm talking about things that can really help them. Like what's stopping them from buying your product or service? What's the blocker? Help them with that blocker. Or you can show them how your product or service can really help them with what they're struggling with right now, or how to get the most out of your product or service. Second action item that you can take on: build a value driven funnel. Your content should lead to a funnel of value that you offer to your audience members. So, for example, step one, you offer a free resource or lead magnet to get people on your email list. An example of this you could see right on our website at 100mba.net. We have on the homepage our free escape plan guide showing you how to quit your 9 to 5 job and start an online business. Once they're on your email list, you're going to nurture them with more value via email, right? You're going to send them emails to educate them, to build trust, send them your best content, help them out, give them something to think about, something to enrich their lives. So, for example, when you're on our email list, you get our newsletter where I coach you from afar by giving you 3 things to do every single week. I give you something to think about. It's like a thought exercise. I give you something to do, and I give you something to learn. This allows us to build trust with our audience and get to know us so they know that we're a good fit for them. You then make an offer that they can't refuse. You give them your product or service and you present it in a way that it's a no-brainer. See how we're thinking in terms of strategy? Likes don't pay the bills, sales do. Third action item: focus on your products and services. Your products, not your content, are your money makers. Now, content is important. Trust me, I produce a lot of content. I've created over 2,500 podcast episodes. I got a ton of videos on YouTube. We publish over 150 pieces of content all over social media. But I use that content as a tool to bring awareness to our products and services. And I'm proud of that because I know our products are valuable and can really help people. And so should you, okay? So you should spend a lot of time improving your offering and making sure when they finally get to your website and they're interested in what you have to offer, that that product really sells itself. Too many people are spending more time, money, effort, energy on their marketing and on their content, and not enough on making an incredible product. You're going to waste all that energy to get them to your site, and then they're going to not really love what you have. That's not a good idea. You got to flip it. You got to create a great product, something that your audience can't live without. It's kind of like a no-brainer for them, so that when they discover you, they learn about you, they get to your website, it's so easy for them to buy because it's so valuable. I did this with my software company, Webinar Ninja, which we built for 10 years, had over 30,000 users, made millions and millions of dollars, got acquired by ProProfs. In that process, I didn't focus on being famous. I focused on creating the best webinar software for my audience, which was small business owners, coaches, creators, authors. The results: we helped thousands of people with our software. We became a valuable company, which led to our acquisition, which led to life-changing money for me. Action step number 4, measure what matters. As Peter Drucker says, what gets measured gets managed. So you got to track your metrics, the metrics that lead to sales, not just vanity metrics like views and likes. Examples of the metrics I'm talking about are like email signups or leads, conversion rates, revenue growth. Some metrics that are not as important, you may want to track them, but they're not as important, are like views, followers, likes. They're not tied to revenue directly. It's not the numbers you really need to worry about. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that your marketing efforts are paying off and they're moving in the right direction, but those metrics are not going to make or break your business. I'm fully aware of this because, back in August of 2024, we started a YouTube channel, and I'm really driven to grow that channel. But I'm also very aware that this is just a nice to have and a good way to market. It's not really what makes me money. The business is not dependent on it. And if we do well, great. If we don't, what really matters is our products and services. Action step number 5, think long term. Fame is fleeting. I can name you a bunch of celebrities, a bunch of influencers that don't exist anymore. You don't even hear about them anymore. They're old news. A business is a lasting asset. Build a business that can scale, that can grow, that can sustain you for years to come. That's the beauty of a business, is that you're creating something that can support you in your life and that can build exceptional wealth. And remember, businesses that focus on profit over popularity are the ones that actually endure. They have the money to spend on marketing. They have the money to make some hires. They have the money to, get a dividend and earn income. One of my favorite examples of this is Sarah Blakely, who didn't become a billionaire by chasing followers. She built a product people loved. Spanx, and focused on solving a specific problem for her audience, her target customer. Now, there's something we need to talk about that isn't talked about enough. Yes, let's address the elephant in the room. Fame has its downsides. If you don't know somebody who's famous at any level or you've experienced this yourself, you may not know these things. Number one, fame attracts people who aren't aligned with your business or values, whether on a personal level or even from a holistic business level. It just brings people in that really are not a good match. It also distracts you from what actually makes you feel fulfilled, making a difference in people's lives. And thirdly, it can create a lot of pressure for yourself and your family to maintain an image instead of focusing on being a great entrepreneur, growing your business. One of the things I always say is that you don't want to look successful, you want to be successful. And here's just the bottom line of this whole episode, okay? From what I've learned from over the years, speaking to so many people that have so much impact and so much fame, the best scenario to be in is to be impactful, valuable, successful, and rich. I didn't say famous because you actually don't want to be famous, because famous means you can't go anywhere without being bombarded, without being asked for a selfie, without having a personal moment with your family on holiday. So just skip it. You don't need it to make millions. You don't need it to be successful as an entrepreneur. If it happens because you're doing all the right things and you are creating noteworthy work and you're creating great value in the world, it just happens organically, so be it. And you'll have to deal with those challenges, but you shouldn't run after it. So to recap, focus on attracting the right audience, not the biggest audience. Build a value-driven funnel to turn content into customers. Spend your time improving your products and services, not trying to chase the latest trend on TikTok. Number 4, track the right metrics that matter, like sales and conversions. Number 5, think long-term. Build a business that lasts. Thanks for tuning into the $100 MBA show. If you love this podcast, you found this episode helpful, the best way to support us is just to hit subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast app, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Castbox or whatever it might be. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. This allows us to get more exposure and reach new audience members and help grow the show. Thanks so much in advance for doing that. I'm Omar Zenhom, and I'm here to help you stay focused and achieve your goals in this episode, the next episode, and the next. So I'll see you then. Take care.